Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy podcast. I'm your host, Jason Duprat, and we are back here for another Tactical Tuesday episode. So the last Tactical Tuesday episode, I mentioned that I would be going to an event. It was kind of short notice. I had a friend that I know, Dan Ryder. He used to do our marketing for us, really great guy, and he highly suggested that I come to this event put on by Anik Singhal, and I couldn't be happier that I went. So I had to obviously, book the travel and the lodging and go through all of that rigmarole. But the event was, again, highly recommended, and I knew I had to go because I had just recently learned how amazing Anik is in terms of his ability to build businesses and his skills as a marketer and all these things. He had a really great network, and I was like, let me go see what in the world's going on over here with Anik. And I saw that he built a new Learn Center, and so this is one of the real reasons that I wanted to go, because this event was at his new learning center. And I don't know if you happen to catch possibly my I did a story on Facebook several weeks ago, and it was me at a roller skating. It was me at a roller skating rink, and outside it's not for sale, but I drive by this building pretty frequently, and it's a large building, and I've seen the pictures inside from their Google business listing, and I have this feeling that it's going to be an amazing place potentially for me to host some live events and some trainings. And so I just wanted to go see what this guy was doing with his new Learn Center, because he's basically several steps ahead of me, but doing something that I literally had just a few months ago posted some posts about, and really started to dig in to see what it would be like to create a center, like an actual center where people could come and learn how to start businesses, how to optimize their clinics. And to do that like really well, I want to have my own center. And so long story short, I flew all the way up there and spent 4 days in Maryland. It's just outside Washington, DC. The whole event was just absolutely amazing, right? Like, he did not pull out, any stops in terms of what he delivered. In terms of the content was amazing. His hospitality was amazing. I mean, he had us picked up in a huge limousine bus. He catered the entire event. The whole thing was free. Like, he didn't charge anybody a single thing, which was unbelievable. Now, obviously, there's something, when something's free, it's never going to be, there's got to be an offer, right? There's got to be something, a sales pitch on the back end. Of course, there was an offer made on the back end, but I wanted it. Like, I think I told you guys that I had left, Russell Brunson's Mastermind several months ago, and just been kind of keeping my eyes out for the next possible Mastermind where I can, go even deeper with people who are further than me, where I can, build my network and learn from people who are just many steps ahead of me oftentimes. And that's kind of what I found at this event. So he surveyed everybody that came, and it turns out that the average business revenue from those attending the event was over $420 million in 2021. And so immediately, I knew that I was going to be surrounding myself with people that were more advanced than me. And actually, he gave average business income, and I was actually even below average, which is very, humbling. It's hard to want to be in those kinds of rooms where you're kind of like the peon, you're the newbie, you're the rookie. We all like to sort of be at the top of the group in which we're hanging out with, but you always have to fight that urge, right? Like, I knew I was going to be probably near the bottom or something like that, which was just totally fine. You always have to surround yourself with those who are further ahead of you and those who have done what you want to do. Like, you absolutely have to do that. And it's a humbling experience. And, it's not always easy to do. You go in there and you feel like you don't know anything. And, it just make you feel a little bit less than, but you know that it's for the good of your business and for the good of, your goals. Like, it's going to help you get to your goals by surrounding yourself with people like that. So the whole event was amazing. He put on some really awesome training programs. We had a speaking training, which was just really good. We had another training on TikTok ads. So I don't know if you guys have seen the mullet man. His name's CJ, but he was there. Ridiculously intelligent young man. He's only 25 years old, and his business does $750,000 per month in revenue. I didn't I didn't stutter. I didn't, misspeak. He does $750,000 per month in revenue at 25 years old. Like when you go to those types of rooms, those types of events, and you see what's possible, you see people that are like 10, 15, 20 steps ahead of you, and you're like, man, and they're younger, and they're like, it's like, what in the world? Okay, let's do it. Let's learn from these guys. Let's figure out what they're doing. What pieces can I implement in my business? They had so many opportunities to just chat with everybody, and the culture there was like something I've never seen before. Everybody was willing to help everybody. So if you're in a conversation and for example, I was talking to a guy who does virtual events, and we're about to do our first virtual event. And he was like, well, hey, how many people are you planning to have? What's your goal? How many people do you have on your email list? How are you planning to run ads? Asking me all these questions that we've started to think about, but it was funny because he was very quiet. Didn't really say much. He would ask me a question and then just kind of sit there and look at me and kind of shake his head or nod his head, just acknowledging me. And kind of the conversation, to keep it equal, is kind of just, asking him about him. I wanted to know a little bit about him and his business and what he was doing. And he's like, oh, well, we do virtual events. Been doing virtual events for I think he said 20 years. Back before they were even video, they were on the phone. Long story short, he said he's never done a virtual event with less than 60,000 people in it. And he's like, we do things really different. And so it was just amazing to get around somebody who's filled up a virtual event with 60,000 people. And not only that, but he's figured out ways to get sponsorships for his events that were blowing my mind. One of his last events, he got $200,000 in sponsorships from companies for his virtual event because he's able to attract so many people to these events that they're willing to spend that much to get in front of these very niche audiences. So just mind-blowing conversations and just a really cool experience. I ended up signing up for his Mastermind, which he's actually changing the name of it. He doesn't want to call it Mastermind because a lot of masterminds tend to be shorter events. They tend to be, like Russell Brunson's was there were some virtual trainings, but it was really heavily focused on one main event that they do where they get everybody together for 3 or 4 days. And then there was a secondary event that was smaller, that family was included. A lot of times masterminds are heavily event-based, at least in today's day and age. And he wants to sort of, shift that thought because his isn't event-based. And actually his first round of, his first group had no event whatsoever, in terms of traveling to, an all-inclusive resort and doing a group vacation. He's doing it just totally different. His events are at his Learn Center where he actually hosts classes and, different experts that are attending will speak, but he also bring in other experts to talk about what's really working in terms of, YouTube ads or TikTok ads, or what's a great funnel strategy for XYZ product. It was just, they're really going deep, and really focused on learning. And the cool thing is that he actually opened up his business for us. He was going and sharing details that most business owners don't share about their business. And so I just got so much value out of it. It was just unbelievable. And so this is actually what I want to build. I want to have my own, not a Learn Center, but something similar. And I want to have it for healthcare professionals. And, I talked about doing a mastermind, but I was thinking the same exact thing. It's so funny how we're so much on the same page. I don't really love the word mastermind, and I don't want it to be purely event focused. I really want it to be outcomes focused and learning focused, and not just theoretical BS that you learn in, college these days. A lot of the stuff that we learn in college is complete useless information in a lot of degrees and a lot of majors. Now, obviously, it's very useful in others, but a lot of college degrees, a lot of things that you learn in these formal education settings, it's outdated. A lot of times it's taught by people who haven't done what they're even teaching. They just open up a textbook and regurgitate the information, and it's just not practical. Oftentimes it's very theoretical. Well, his training is completely different, and that's what I want mine to be too. Is just very, very practical, very tactical, very relevant. What is happening today? What was a win that you got in your business, over the last couple of months? Let's go share it with the group and help everybody succeed. And so that is what I am going to be building. And I'm not going to officially announce it until later in the year, but this is something that's under creation. This is where I've been putting a lot of my energy and focus in terms of what all can I offer, who can I get together in this room, and it all boils down to getting clinic owners. At least for this first group, it's going to be clinic owners around the country who are going to be able to come and join this particular group of really successful people and those aspiring to be really successful. Because I don't know if you've heard of Napoleon Hill. I think I mentioned him on a previous podcast, but there's this really amazing thing that happens when you get a group together where there's like an amazing amount of collaboration. The energy that is created, it's just something that like you have to be there to experience. And Napoleon Hill talked about it when he talks about his masterminds. And that's like the third person that's essentially created when two people get together and they start to share ideas and there's just synergy and energy and collaboration. Basically like a third mind generates, which is what he called the mastermind. And that's where the whole term came from. That third mind just helps both people create like amazing ideas and amazing business changes. It's something that's just not possible by sitting in a room by yourself or watching a video lesson online. It doesn't happen that way. And that's why he called it the mastermind.